Monday morning, another week of lockdown. It's week 7, day 43. Every Monday and every Friday, James Luxford, Stratford-upon-Avon-based movie reviewer for the Radio Times, Metro newspaper, running you through 3 movies. He marked your card on Friday, stuff to watch over the weekend. But what about the week ahead? Well, he's back this morning to maybe just give you a few tips for your viewing at home over the next 3 or 4 days or so. James, good morning.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
It was all right. It was, keeping it socially distanced and watching a few movies.
Yeah. Still behaving, but sort of there is a increasing sort of frustration, I sort of sense, or what are we doing now then? When are we back? When can we do more? And a sort of a sense, certainly from a lot of our listeners this morning, they're sort of feeling a bit sort of like caged animals, ready to be let out there. Are you sort of sensing that?
I think so. Yeah, I think I spoke about this to my wife yesterday. We're kind of in the middle of it now, and I think we went into it with a great deal of sort of, not enthusiasm, but with a little bit of courage, and it was new and it was novel, and we're a few weeks into it now, and it's just beginning to grate, isn't it? And but I think this is the point where we really push on.
Good stuff. Right, so let's talk 3 movies then for our pleasure and viewing this week. Going to start with something that's on tomorrow night.
Yes, Tuesday, 6:50, Sony Movies Classics, which is on your Freeview channels. Roxanne, Steve Martin stars as a man who hides his feelings for his new neighbour because of his insecurities about his appearance.
Everybody take cover, she's going to blow! Fashionable. You know, you could de-emphasize your nose if you wore something larger, like Wyoming. Oh. Personal. Well, here we are. Just the 3 of us. Punctual. All right, Delman, your nose was on time, but you were 15 minutes late. Envious. Oh, I wish I were you. Gosh, to be able to smell your own ear.
It's a classic, isn't it, from the 1980s?
Absolutely. Steve Martin at the height of his powers, also starring Daryl Hannah in the title role. I think this is a very sweet romantic comedy with a good story, of course, based on Cyrano de Bergerac, and a lot of laughs, and it just letting loose a great comedy talent in Steve Martin.
It's on Sony Movies Classic, 10 to 7, 6:50 for Roxanne tonight. And your second choice takes us to Wednesday night.
Yes, 10:05 on PM on Talking Pictures TV, which is also on Freeview. Tony Curtis plays Houdini in the movie about the great escape artist's life, while Janet Leigh plays his wife, Bess.
You're really a wonderful audience. And I do want to thank you for this heartwarming welcome you've given me on my return to the stage. I do hope I pleased you, and that you'll be coming back to see me again and again. And each time you do come back, I promise you bigger and better thrills. Good night, and thank you very much.
Tony Curtis, of course, famous for doing so many comedic roles. Jack Lemmon, in particular, you remember him co-starring with him. What's he like in this? A biography pick, isn't it, about Harry Houdini?
Yes, a great biopic from Hollywood's golden era in the 50s. Tony Curtis is very good. Janet Leigh is also, they're just superb together. As you would expect, it was a husband and wife team, of course, would go on to have Jamie Lee Curtis from their marriage. And it takes some liberties with the truth. The stunts are terrific, as you'd expect from a movie about Houdini, and just some tremendous sort of old school glamour from 1950s Hollywood.
It's Houdini, starring Tony Curtis, as James said, on Talking Pictures TV on Wednesday night, just after 10 o'clock, available on your Freeview channels. And your final choice is actually something that's up on the BBC iPlayer you can watch right now.
Yes, absolutely. On the iPlayer right now, the 1980 drama The Elephant Man. John Hurt won a BAFTA for playing John Merrick, a man with a rare facial condition. Anthony Hopkins plays the doctor who tries to help him.
Mr. Merrick, she's beautiful.
Oh, she had the face of an angel. It's been a great disappointment.
No, Mr. Merrick, no. No son as loving as you could ever be a disappointment.
If only I could find her so she could see me. With such lovely friends here now that perhaps she could love me as I am.
It's a bit of a seminal movie role, this, isn't it? And something that maybe I think John Hurt will be remembered for all time.
Yes, a classic directed by David Lynch, produced by Mel Brooks, even though it is far from a comedy. Hurt is incredible, as is Anthony Hopkins in a role you wouldn't expect of him. It's quite understated, a little bit smaller of a performance than you would expect from later in his career. As you said, John Hurt, just wonderful, and one of those all-time classic performances, I think, both physically and sort of emotionally. Highly recommended film.
On the BBC iPlayer for you to view right now, The Elephant Man. James, appreciate that, and we'll speak again on Friday, yeah?
Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely.
Good stuff. James Luxford for the Metro newspaper, Radio Times. You can read his reviews in between now and Friday, and he'll be back, like I say, Friday morning, just to mark your card with the weekend ahead.